Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here to answer some questions. The Inspector General Office is obviously one that people don't know a whole lot about, so I have some quick questions on that basic part. Do you hear about welfare fraud very frequently? You do investigations on all different types of fraud within the state of Pennsylvania, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have to get permission by the governor in which investigations you do?
No.
So you are an independent entity?
We're certainly independent in the sense that no one asks us what investigations we are undertaking, and at least in the time that I have been in the agency, and we have generated a whole host of investigations and it's only an internal process.
Okay, and how does an investigation actually, quickly, I'm sorry, with time frame, get started? How does an investigation, how does somebody come to you and say, can you look at this, and you say okay, or is it, what happens?
Well, on our Bureau of Special Investigations side, where we're looking at programmatic problems or employee issues, we can get it in a number of ways. There can be a request by the agency itself to ask us to look into something that is going on within a department or a section of their agency. We often utilize whistleblower individuals who may have information about something that they see or that's something that's going on within the executive branch, and that may generate an investigation. Or we could get an anonymous tip or a referral from outside of state government about something that someone sees.
Okay.
That happens a lot with contractor and vendor issues.
Okay, and you just make that decision to move forward if there's enough validity to the...
Correct.
Okay.
We typically would want to have to corroborate some aspect of what we're being told, but we've generated a number of investigations based solely on an anonymous tip, and we're able to corroborate some of the information and generate an investigation.
And I appreciate that. I mean, we just had the PSP folks in and everything, and we just heard about a contract that's a big issue with the Harris contract, where it seems that it's been a very high cost and safety is in jeopardy. So that's a contract issue that is not welfare. I want to bring another one that's out there also. We've also had the conversation, I don't know if you're familiar about the lease back, but it's really just a loan that the governor took out on the farm show. So in looking at how taxpayer dollars are spent or misspent and really misappropriated in the sense that the legislative branch is the one to decide debt, whether the Commonwealth should go into debt, and having that dialogue with the governor. The governor chose to go around the checks and balances of state government, and I would think that your office would be one that would be able to take a look at the fact that were all laws followed, were the regulations followed, because having the department DGS secretary in here, he said that the Farm Show Commission, who oversees the Farm Show, the commission in the DGS area that is to oversee every lease, were not involved. They didn't think that they needed to be involved, where I think the regulation is pretty clear that they do need to be involved for all executive agencies. So there are two issues there that very much go against how normal practices. The Secretary said himself, this is a first-time kind of contract. Is that the kind of thing that your agency could take a look at? Because it's, $375 million of taxpayer money that put us in debt for 29 years.
Possibly, yes. It depends on the nature of the investigation. There are certain situations where in order to conduct the investigation fully and completely, it's going to require what amounts to a financial audit or looking at the books, so to speak, of something. Then that's typically the kind of thing that the Auditor General has the experience and the expertise to undertake. If it involves a program issue or a contracting issue or a state law issue, that is the kind of thing that we have looked at in the past and we could look at in the future, yes.
Okay, because in taking a look at what was happened, how it processed through, it did not go the normal route. It did not follow the normal way of doing it. And quite honestly, like I said, checks and balances in our state government are there for a reason. We have 3 branches of government, and I think in this particular case, very much so, the governor chose to only use his executive branch, and I think that the taxpayers are going to be paying for that. Executive, in my opinion, wrong decision for 29 years, and I think that they would be like to know the validity of whether or not it was done correctly or not. Thank you.
Thank you.